The story of Mercedes-Benz is one that spans well over a century, woven into the very fabric of automotive history. Mere mention of the brand conjures images of engineering excellence, luxury, and innovation. But behind the iconic star emblem lies a tale far richer and more complex than advertisements or brochures could ever convey. This is the hidden history of Mercedes-Benz, a legacy forged through ambition, rivalry, and a relentless pursuit of perfection. It all traces back to the closing years of the 19th century, a time when the world was on the cusp of an unprecedented technological revolution. The air was thick with the optimism of invention, and in Germany, a country bustling with mechanical ingenuity, two men were about to change transportation forever. Karl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler, two pioneers working independently, pushed the boundaries of what seemed possible. On January 29, 1886, Karl Benz received a patent for his three-wheeled motor wagon, often considered the first automobile powered by an internal combustion engine. Meanwhile, in the very same year, Gottlieb Daimler and his longtime collaborator, Wilhelm Maybach, built their own horseless carriage, demonstrating perhaps the earliest high-speed gasoline engine. At the time, neither Benz nor Daimler could have predicted that their paths and their legacies would eventually intertwine. The story, however, would not be complete without Bertha Benz, Karl's enterprising wife. Her boldness in 1888, when she undertook the first long-distance drive in an automobile, traveling 66 miles with her teenage sons, proved not only the car's practicality, but also the true potential of this new technology. Along the way, Bertha solved mechanical problems and even invented brake lining by necessity, anticipating later advances and demonstrating the human adaptability that would characterize Mercedes-Benz for generations. The origins of the Mercedes name itself can be traced back to a different kind of passion. In the early 1900s, Emil Jelinek, an Austrian businessman, diplomat, and automotive enthusiast, became a central figure for Daimler Motorengesellschaft, the company Gottlieb Daimler had established. Jelinek was fascinated by speed and competition, and he insisted on improvements to Daimler's vehicles that eventually led to the creation of the Mercedes 35 HP. But the Mercedes name honored not an engineer, but Jelinek's beloved daughter, Mercedes, a fitting symbol of affectionate ambition. By 1901, the Mercedes 35 HP stunned the automotive world. Its cutting-edge lightweight frame, powerful engine, and previously unknown levels of handling established a new blueprint for performance cars. Critics, engineers, and competitors alike marveled at what appeared to be the birth of the modern automobile. As Germany's automotive industry rapidly expanded, Europe soon became both a laboratory and battleground for innovation. Daimler and Benz, though fierce rivals, each developed their own companies at a breakneck pace. Insightfully, both knew that the automobile was more than machinery, it was a passport to the future. Yet, while their inventions dazzled, their companies would not survive the social and economic upheavals of the early 20th century without drastic change. The devastation of the First World War left the German economy in shambles. In 1926, market pressures, competition, and the urgency to pool resources led Daimler Motorengesellschaft and Benz & C. to merge, forging Daimler-Benz AG. For the first time, Mercedes and Benz would share a banner. The legendary three-pointed star, originally a symbol of Daimler's goal to dominate land, sea, and air transport, was encircled and joined by the laurel wreath from Benz, signaling the formation of a new automotive giant, Mercedes-Benz. Throughout the interwar years, Mercedes-Benz diversified its models, crafting vehicles that ranged from humble workhorses to stunning luxury limousines. In 1936, they introduced the 260D, one of the world's first diesel-powered passenger cars. The 1930s, however, hinted at a darker period. Mercedes-Benz, like many German firms at the time, became entwined with the regime in power. During the Second World War, Daimler-Benz manufactured vehicles and equipment for the German military, a somber chapter marked by forced labor and ethical dilemmas. These aspects, often overlooked in nostalgic accounts, are an essential part of the brand's hidden history, a reminder of the broader currents that shape even the most celebrated industries. After the war, Germany was once again in ruins. The factories were bombed, the roads lay broken, and the future seemed uncertain. Yet, the resoluteness that had defined the early founders came to the fore. Mercedes-Benz rebuilt, innovating with limited resources, restoring its place at the vanguard of automotive technology. In the 1950s, Mercedes-Benz heralded an age of renaissance with vehicles that would become legends. The 300 SL Gullwing, with its iconic upward-swinging doors and pioneering use of fuel injection, quickly became the aspirational vehicle of movie stars, racing drivers, and the social elite. But beneath the glitz was relentless engineering, a commitment to excellence that would become a hallmark of the Mercedes-Benz brand. Mercedes-Benz's influence extended far beyond the showroom floor. In 1959, the brand pioneered safety features such as crumple zones, setting new standards for passenger protection. Later, they introduced the first anti-lock braking system, ABS, airbags, and stability control systems, technology that would one day become standard across the globe. Behind the scenes, fierce corporate competition and constant innovation defined the Mercedes-Benz ethos, yet rivalries were not limited to boardrooms and racetracks. They translated into a quiet arms race of ideas and patents, fueling the relentless advancement of the automobile. Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, Mercedes-Benz became synonymous with diplomatic elegance and engineering precision. Their limousines ferried world leaders. Their sedans and coupes appeared in films and inspired pop culture, and their logo became an international mark of status and achievement. Yet the engineers back in Stuttgart, where Mercedes-Benz is headquartered, kept pushing boundaries quietly, preparing the next breakthrough. Globalization in the late 20th and early 21st centuries brought new challenges and opportunities. Mercedes-Benz expanded beyond Germany, establishing a presence in the United States, China, and dozens of countries, increasingly tailoring vehicles for local markets. The company also weathered turbulent economic waters, including the high-profile merger with Chrysler in the late 1990s, an ambitious but ultimately troubled union that became an instructive episode in multinational management. Behind the supercars and luxury sedans, Mercedes-Benz's history is also the story of ordinary people. Generations of craftsmen, engineers, and assembly line workers imbued each vehicle with skill and pride, a culture forged in pre-war austerity and post-war rebirth. Over the decades, Mercedes-Benz has navigated changing tides in fashion, regulation, and social expectation, from the oil crises of the 1970s to the environmental awakening of the 21st century. Yet, throughout its history, Mercedes-Benz has never been a brand content merely with resting on legacy. Environmental innovation, now crucial in the industry, has become a new frontier for the marque. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Mercedes-Benz experimented with hydrogen-powered vehicles and hybrid technologies, preparing for a world where sustainability would define progress, just as combustion engines once did. The relentless drive toward the future is perhaps best encapsulated in their latest initiatives. With the advent of electric mobility, Mercedes-Benz has committed itself to an era of EQ, its all-electric sub-brand. Drawing on its legacy of innovation, the company is now shaping the world's transition toward cleaner, quieter transport. Their research touches on artificial intelligence, autonomous driving, and new forms of connectivity, all in pursuit of what the founders might have recognized as the ultimate challenge: delivering the best or nothing. The brand's enduring fascination is that it encompasses such a rich tapestry of triumph and tragedy, of humble invention and audacious luxury, of personal stories and world-changing events. Mercedes-Benz thrived not just because of its products, but because of the restless spirit at its heart, a spirit that traversed wars, economic depressions, soaring booms, and scientific frontiers. Even today, as the world enters an age of extraordinary technological change, the hidden history of Mercedes-Benz is still being written. Each gleaming vehicle on the road has behind it not only the genius of visionary engineers, but also the cumulative courage of a company that has redefined itself time and again. From the foggy streets of Victorian Mannheim to the autonomous highways of tomorrow, The emblem of the three-pointed star continues to guide the future, a living symbol of what is possible when human ambition dares to imagine a better way forward. The next time you spot a Mercedes on the street, remember that its story began long before the word automobile became commonplace, rooted in experimentation, perseverance, and the quiet conviction that true progress rarely follows a straight road. The legacy of Mercedes-Benz is more than a brand. It is a chronicle of ingenuity, resilience, and the power of invention to transform not only the way we travel, but the world in which we live.